Hello, this is a winter mushroom foraging vlog and I'm out in the countryside today and not the forest for a change, and I'm scouring all the hedgerows looking for some tasty edible mushrooms. I'm in a very public place right now, so there's quite a few people looking, but I just spotted this tree with loads and loads of velvet shanks growing on. Not 100% what this tree is because it's pretty dead, so we've only got the bark to go on, so if anyone knows then comment. But yeah, look, these ones are all dead. And these have got such a beautiful caramel colour. There's loads up there, very much out of reach, and I'm not going to be climbing this skinny little tree in public. Absolutely not. So I'm going back to where I found that nice big cluster of juicy velvet shanks the other day in the bush. And hopefully they're still there. I reckon they are. I don't reckon anyone's taken them because they were quite far in the bush. I just got here and they're still here. There they are. Well, they're extra juicy now after all the rain we've had over the past 2 days. They've got a nice bit bigger as well. So in case you didn't catch my shorts video the other day, these are velvet shanks. They are a very caramel orange brown in colour. They have from white to sort of a creamy yellowish colour to their gills. The stipe has a fine velvety feel to it, although right now these ones are really wet, so they generally feel just a little bit wet and slimy. But normally when it's dry, the stipe is just velvety. And when they're young, it will be a pale yellow, and as they mature, it will get browner towards the bottom. And then when they're really mature, it can be dark brown to black the whole way up. These ones are mega sticky because it's been raining a lot. Want to see a magic trick? There you go, you can see some of the darker stipes there. Some people call these the wild enoki, but they're not actually the same species as the enoki that you get from the Chinese supermarkets. But they are related, but this is the British native version. Flammulina velutipes, I think that's how you pronounce it. Just adding this in about velvet shanks. So they're lookalikes. The most important one to know, well, they're all important to know, but the most important one is the funeral bell because it's highly toxic and it does look quite similar. But the key differences are the stipe. So the velvet shank has the velvety stipe that turns very dark. Compared to the funeral bell. So the funeral bell's stipe has a little ring on it, and it's not always very obvious, but it has got a tiny little ring or a skirt. And then underneath the little skirt, the funeral bell has like a silvery whitish kind of fibrous looking stem, so you need to look out for that. And then there's ruskills. So the common ruskill can look quite similar to this, but it's a lot more orange and it has a rusty coloured spore print, whereas these, it's like an just slightly off white coloured spore print. And what else? Sulphur tufts as well. Sulphur tufts look similar, but they are more yellow rather than caramel, and they have olivey green gills, whereas these just have yellowy cream gills. So check those out too. And then there's the sheathed wood tuft as well, which is actually an edible one, and it looks similar to this, but yeah, again, just have a look for yourself. If you're not very experienced with mushroom foraging, then velvet shanks aren't the best place to start because of all the lookalikes that they have, and the funeral bell being a very toxic one. So yeah, make sure you're well researched before you go eating these. We've had some stormy weather and a couple of days of rain, so that means that the jelly ears should be jellying. So hopefully I find some nice ones around here. I found some! Look! Yeah, I'm just taking a video of something. No, I'm doing photography stuff. Whoa, look at them, there's loads. And there's some other types of fungus on this twig as well. So I'm going to sacrifice looking like a weirdo in public and take this with me and go somewhere where there's a bit more daylight to show it off. So again, I got a bit sidetracked yesterday and then it got dark, so I've come back again to check on the jelly ear log, and then we can talk about those in a sec. Alright, I've got my log back, so yeah, I'm just going to put that down because I've just spotted up in that tree what I think is some oysters. See if we can get up there without falling to my death. Ugh. So I thought these were growing out of the oak tree, but actually they're growing out of this really thick vine here that is actually strangling the oak tree. It goes all the way up there. You can see the mushrooms. I think it's something to do with the ivy. So these ones are nice and fresh. These ones are not so fresh. They're a bit manky, those ones. They're not too bad, but they're a bit brittle and old. To be fair, I haven't actually considered if it's okay to eat mushrooms growing out of ivy, because I've never found mushrooms growing out of ivy. So I'll double check with some more of my experienced mycologist friends, and I will put it in the text. The river is absolutely gushing today. I didn't think we'd had that much rain, but it usually doesn't take much for this river to flood. Normally the river starts over there where that tall tree is, and it's come all the way up to here. So jelly is, oh no, that one's going to fall off. Where should I put it? So yeah, jelly is, you will most commonly find these between January, February, March, I'd say, when it's cold and wet, and they do like to grow on elderwood, but they are not exclusive to elderwood. I'm 95% sure that this is an oak branch, because I find these every year on pieces of fallen wood under an oak tree, and I have seen a few dotted up on the branches on the tree that's still standing. So yeah, they do grow on other hardwoods. I've also found them growing on beech. So yeah, they're definitely not exclusive to elderwood, but they do like elderwood. And around here, all the hedgerows are full of elder, and the elder is growing in between the beech and the oak, so obviously they've spread onto those other hardwood trees. And I don't really tend to find these out in the forest as such, because right now I am following a hedgerow that goes along by the river. So the hedgerow is full of fruit and nut trees and elderberry trees, and obviously these are growing everywhere because it's that time of year. Evidently they are a very distinct looking fungi. They have been described as looking like a piece of skin from a certain body part that I shall not say out loud. But obviously, yeah, they mostly look like ears. The inside is smooth and the outside is ever so slightly velvety, soft. Just rip this one open so you can see the inside. It is literally like a jelly sweet inside. So you know, like Haribo are made of gelatin. That is literally what the texture of these is like inside. If you do eat them, then obviously you need to cook them first. But be warned, the texture is a bit strange. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do eat them sometimes, but I just chop them up really small. But they are like soft and squishy, obviously, but when you bite into them, it's almost like a crunch. So it's quite a strange eating experience. As for lookalikes, to be honest, it's only sort of other cup-shaped fungi, so mainly the Peziza species of fungi, which are cups, and I don't think they tend to grow on elderwood, but they can grow out of wood substrate, so a lot of them grow out of sort of the ground, like soil and wood chipping type stuff, but I have found some Peziza cup fungi growing out of a little pit on a beech tree. So these grow on beech, and you may come across rarely some cup fungi growing on or around beech, so just be aware of that. The Peziza species are not edible and some are potentially poisonous, so make sure you research and have a look at those before you collect some jellies. Found some more jellies. It's a nice big one. Whoa, I've just spotted the jelly ear motherlode down here. Take a look at these. That one's just fallen off. I just remembered something else that I didn't mention earlier when I was talking about jelly ears and cup fungi like Peziza. So jelly ears should always be growing facing down like this, and the Peziza cup fungi usually grow facing up. So they'll be like this, in a cup shape facing upwards towards the sky, and the jelly ears always grow down like this. So if you look all along that log, they are all hanging downwards. There's some big saggier ones in there, but they're all facing down. That's a huge one. Like a lot of other mushrooms, jelly ears are high in B complex vitamins and a lot of other minerals too, and they are high in dietary fibre as well, so they're good for the gut. Wherever I go, there's a robin following me.